What's going on, guys? Back at it again today, and really excited because we're off on our second train journey, and actually our last train journey in Sri Lanka. We're heading to Ella. It's supposed to be pretty awesome, but don't expect super smooth footage because I forgot to charge the gimbal. So going handheld on today's episode. Yeah, heading towards Ella. Let's go. Seriously, I'll take a train any day, and these Sri Lankan trains rank about top in the world in terms of both fun and photogenicness. Our journey from Kandy is a bit of a grueling one though. 6 hours on bumpy tracks to the tea-covered hills of Ella. Back on the train, back hanging outdoors, back loving this. It's just so much fun on these trains. Some trees. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun. And it's just nice to have this like freedom to be able to do this, to just be able to enjoy the drive, enjoy the train ride, while just having the wind in your face and yeah, just flowing through it. Loving it. Yvonne Chouinard once wrote something like, "A real adventure is something that you might not come back alive from, and certainly not the same person." So while riding the rails in Sri Lanka might not be as hardcore as a real adventure, it is liberating. There's just something about being able to hang out the door of a moving train as it clunks along through an unfamiliar country. The wind on your face, as cliche as it sounds, just has this magical effect on our happiness, doesn't it? So taking images from the train's a challenge because it's bumpy and there's not that many handles to hang on to. There's one out here, but there's not that many, to be honest. So yeah, it's been a bit of a battle. I do think I got a photo or two, though there was a lady that just got off the train that was just gorgeous. And her walking along the train tracks, I think it's a really cool photo. I'm stoked with that. But I'm gonna carry on this video once we get to Ella, which is just down the tracks, and maybe try to photograph this train, you know, from off the train. A little late, we rolled into Ella, grabbed some well-deserved sleep, and headed out for some more train photography. This time, from a stationary footing. Okay, it's tomorrow. And just before sunset, and yeah, we're hiking for a little bit to a place called 9 Arches Bridge, which is this classic bridge vista photograph of, yeah, the train tracks that approach here in Ella. It's definitely an iconic location. It's hopefully a location where you can make kind of an iconic hero image that kind of tells the story of the whole region. So yeah, that's where we're hiking now, and hopefully we can get some light. Okay, so we made it to the bridge, which is right down there. And one, it's really warm out. And two, I'm realizing that it would definitely be best from a drone. But because of the terrorist attack that happened, I guess about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, there's still a red zone on the security in Sri Lanka, and there's no drones allowed during that time period. So I'm behaving myself even though I don't want to, and not flying drones. Instead, I think we're gonna walk down the tracks, find a nice composition, and hope a train comes by. Nine Arches Bridge, which is also sometimes called the Bridge in the Sky, is an architectural marvel built in 1923 in full anticipation of the dozens of Instagrammers that would flock to it each day. It's 91 meters long and hovers 25 meters above the ground. Side note, no Instagrammers or Instagram models were hurt in the making of this vlog. Okay, we're gonna have a quick walk across the tracks and hope a train doesn't run us over. Just to try to figure out what we want out of this. The sun's directly backlit if you're on that side, but it's hazy enough that you might get some nice like orange color sky right at sunset. Or we're gonna go check it out on the other side and see if it's gonna look nice with all this really, really softly lit, you know,
tee and stuff like that. And actually I'm seeing a couple monks and an umbrella above the tee. I'm gonna pull out the lens and photograph that, I think. Okay, so I don't think that worked, just because a bunch of tourists just started walking behind the monks, but it was a cool looking scene. And yeah, almost across the bridge now. What I was saying before is you kind of got to decide what we want. We got to decide if we want to shoot into the backlight and get that hazy, potentially golden sky, or if we want this scene lit up by the last bit of light. You're gonna get really nice soft light on everything and it really make the colors pop. So we just gotta make a decision.
The bad news? It was so hot that I lost a gallon of sweat. The good news? My stench cleared plenty of space for me to set up my tripod. Nary a single Instagram model dared stand in my orbit. Or that strange sense of fashion. Yes, those are flamingo shorts and yellow Kodak socks.
We're all set up, and yeah, got the shot we like. Definitely better front lit rather than backlit. We're basically just set up waiting for the train. The train's supposed to leave at 5:30, and we're just set up on our composition. I got a 24 to 70. I've got a 1.2 grad, a 4-stop medium grad on the top. And then yeah, my shutter speed's a little bit different than normal because we're trying to freeze the frame or freeze the train. So it's ISO 400, 1/200th more or less, and then f5.6. So now it's the waiting game. The train's going across and my 2-second timer was on. Yeah. Okay, so I think we actually hashtag nailed it on the other side, got the train going through, and it's actually going away from us, but getting the tail end of the train, it actually looks like it's coming towards us, so it works. And now we're waiting on the other side because there might be a second train that comes right after sunset, and we're shooting into the backlight, which is super hazy and a little bit bland, but I think it could still work. I'm gonna do something different this time. I went really fast on the shutter speed last time. This time I'm gonna go down to like a 1/2 second shutter speed and hopefully get a little bit of motion blur in the train. So hopefully the train comes. Okay, so the train's about half an hour late, so it's too dark. I'm doing about a 2.5 second exposure. Okay, the train was late, like actually 20 minutes or 30 minutes late, so it was supposed to come by exactly at sunset, but it came back basically at dark. So it was a bit of a mission to get the right exposure and the right mood. I decided to go with like a 2.5 second exposure, which I didn't think was ideal. I wanted about a 1/2 second or maybe a second, but in the end, I like the 2.5 second exposure. It's also ISO 1600, which again, really isn't ideal. You'd want it to be as low as possible, but them's the breaks. Keats did like a 25 second exposure, so totally different. Go check out his Instagram if you want to see what he came up with. And yeah, that's it for today's episode. Trains and train photography here in Sri Lanka. I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow, as I think we're gonna go chasing waterfalls. Don't go chasing. Sorry. Peace.